A scared, angry little man. He thinks it's all over now, but he's wrong. For Rocky Valentine, it's just the beginning.
We'll come back to Rocky Valentine in a moment, but let's talk about adversity. We've all faced adversity of one kind or another. Why do some people crumble while others survive? And some people don't just survive, they actually thrive. What's their secret? Our finest moments in life are when we overcome adversity, when we beat the odds. Think about a time when you felt really good about yourself, when you felt you had achieved your full potential, and I guarantee you that there'll be a time when you had to defeat some type of adversity. How can we make most of the adversity life throws at us? We can see it as a stepping stone to growth.
When people go through adversity and survive and do well, in a way they learn the rules of resilience. It's important to imagine yourself looking back at this stage in your life and just seeing things in proportion. This is not something that's going to kill you. It's just a phase, and you can get through it.
Pain has become my greatest teacher. My name is Hanna-Lee. I was born and raised in Israel, and I've been dancing since the age of 4. Even though growing up in Israel is very challenging, none of that could have prepared me for what happened to me when I was about 16 years old. At the time I was working at the wedding hall called Versailles. There was a particularly large wedding that was booked. Everyone was dancing and really joyful and celebrating, and at one point I got really hot and I stepped to the side of the dance floor. As I was watching people dance, suddenly the floor gave way, and I just saw everyone fall through, kind of melt before my eyes, and before I could grasp what was going on, I was swept into the air, and I just started falling and falling. Most of the injuries were to the side of my head that completely smashed it. I never knew you could be alive at that level of pain. Versailles was a really great tragedy. But for me, it's amazing how it's become a driving force. And with each year that goes by, I grow with it and I learn to take new meaning from it. I've been able to see the gifts that lie in it. If there's extremes on both ends, and that was like the most horrible thing that could have happened to me, then on the other end, wow, what are all the possibilities?
In Japan, people love fresh sushi, but overfishing locally has meant they've had to send their fishing boats out further and further. Once caught, the fish are put into tanks for the journey home. But the Japanese can tell the difference between fish that are plucked from the ocean where they've been swimming around and those that have become flabby after lingering in a tank for a couple of weeks. And so they solved this problem with a simple solution. They introduced a little challenge into the fish tanks in the form of a small shark. The shark eats a fish or two, but most arrive in a healthy, animated state. To the fish, that shark is adversity, but it's also what keeps them robust and vigorous. Unfortunately, we all need adversity and struggle in order to grow, to evolve. If we were not challenged, we would remain in an unaltered state all our lives. We would be the same person we were 10 years ago, and that has its own consequences. Every bodybuilder knows that a muscle has to be torn down a little in order to become bigger. A recent study shows that countries with the highest standards of living also have the greatest rates of depression. Here in the US, for example, the depression rate is close to 20%. In China, a much poorer country, the rate is about 6%. Clearly, the comforts we rely on to make our lives easier have done little for our psychological well-being. So why is it that an increase in the standard of living has resulted in a decrease in the enjoyment of living? Perhaps the answer can be found in the Twilight Zone.
Then I must be in heaven. Yeah, that's it. That's it, I'm in heaven, right? Anything I want, eh?
Anything.
Yeah, big talk, fatso, big talk. I want to see it in action now. Right now, I want $1 million in 5G notes.
Yes, Mr. Valentine, what can I do for you?
I'm bored. I mean, there's no excitement around here, no kicks. If I gotta stay here another day, I'm gonna go nuts. Look, I don't belong in heaven, see? I wanna go to the other place.
Heaven? Whatever gave you the idea you were in heaven, Mr. Valentine? This is the other place.
In the Bible, we see repeatedly how Abraham is tested by God. What's the purpose of testing him? God is omniscient. He already knows the outcome to the test. Why test a student if you know in advance how he will score? The purpose of the test is not for God's sake. It's for our sake.
Every time I face adversity and I continue to be tested, I know deep down that even in my darkest, weakest moments, I can still find my strength. Every time you have to find it again, and that's what's beautiful about it, you know.
Adversity is what gives us our finest moments, our proudest occasions, our sense of accomplishment. It brings out the very edge of who we can be. Rather than shrinking from adversity, embrace adversity. See it as an opportunity for a new dawn, an escape from the status quo. As a friend, see adversity as a stepping stone towards becoming a greater you.